honestly, we were in a very cold Boston in the winter, and we are two working mothers with very small children. So I think having somebody at work who totally, I could just look in her eye, and we absolutely understood the lack of sleep and the guilt and all the rest of it was amazing.
The film was phenomenal and gripping. So were both of you in your performances. And I imagine you had to do quite a lot of research into the actual crimes because it's obviously based on a true story. So I wanted to know, what was the most shocking thing that you found out when you were doing your research? Kiera, you first.
The crimes are horrific. I don't know if there's one most shocking thing. I mean, I think they were absolutely terrifying and completely horrific. And so, I did a little bit of, I read the actual articles that our characters had written, but I have to say that I didn't look too much into it beyond that. I think this is a story that is a nightmare, and so it was as dark as it gets. But what I thought was amazing about the way that this story is told is that really it's a film that is absolutely a love song to female investigative journalists. And it's really highlighting how important it is that women are placed in positions of power as far as storytelling goes. Because this was a crime and a case and a story that had been largely ignored by the male establishment. And it took two women to say how important this was and to warn the women of Boston that something was going on so that they could potentially protect themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was going to be my next question, actually. I guess both of your characters are really trying to break down those gender stereotypes in a male-dominated industry, a sexist society that they were living in at the time. And you two really helped to build each other up and support each other. So I wondered who that person was for you, or people, when you were starting out in your career, who was helping to guide you and build you up. Harry, for you.
Oh gosh, I've had a most extraordinary time with people I've worked with. But I have to say, my first movie I ever made was Gone Girl. And the late Lisa Baines was an inspiring source of joy for me every day. And Kim Dickens, who had been in the business for decades by the time I got into it, and was so incredibly supportive. That entire cast was so happy for me to be in the position I was in, as opposed to feeling threatened by who was coming up from below. And I just felt so taken care of. And also then working on this film, Kiera and I are both mothers of young children, and it was such a relief to come to work every day and know that we shared an experience, which was trying to balance being working moms at a time when our kids are very small and the hours are long and your kids don't care what you're doing. And it was so nice to be able to come to work and know that vulnerability was on the table because of the story we were telling about the women in the 60s who were struggling with the exact same forces. And because I knew I had an understanding and compassionate partner in my scenes.
It really did come through in the film. It was really powerful.
Good.
And the same to you, Kiera. Did you have kind of someone when you were getting into the industry? I know you've been kind of in it basically your whole life now.
I have. I started working when I was 6, and I hate to say that I don't remember the amazing people, but I've been really, really fortunate throughout my career that I've worked with some really amazing people who've been incredibly inspiring and incredibly supportive. And actually, to name them all right here, I couldn't name them all because I have been really, really lucky. But what I can say about this job, and it's ditto to Carrie on this, because honestly, we were in a very cold Boston in the winter, and we are two working mothers with very small children. So I think having somebody at work who totally, I could just look in her eye, and we absolutely understood the lack of sleep and the guilt and all the rest of it was amazing. And I think for both of us, that was the story that we were telling as far as our characters. It was these women who are in a male dominated world who are trying to keep it all going, and it is so difficult, and it's still so difficult, and it was difficult back then, and we still haven't figured it out.
Well, it was great to see you both on screen together. Iconic duo, and it was phenomenal. Like I say, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. But thank you so much again, and congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Another woman was strangled. Just came over the wire.
I'm killed in the follow-up. You don't have a story.
How many women have to die before it's a story?
Hey, what's going on? I'm Kevin Hart.
Hi, my name's Eric Stonestreet.
Hi, I'm Margot. I'm Journey.
I'm James McAvoy.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe.
I'm Rebel Wilson.
I'm Jeremy Clarkson.
I'm going to be translating some Scottish tweets for It's Gone Viral.
On It's Gone Viral.
Ooh.
on It's Gone Viral.